Welcome back. We left off on 1, heading into training series 2, and that was titled, Where Have We Been? Where Are You Going? About Orlando Giraldi, founder of Orlando Giraldi Seminars Incorporated. My very own personal weight loss success story. How my weight loss success journey somehow turned story. And how I'm actually going to train you to do the very same thing I did. I've lost 95 pounds and kept it off for the last 10 years straight. Hi, my name is Orlando Giraldi, and I would like to first start by saying I'm honored for the time that you're taking out of your schedule in allowing me the opportunity to hand deliver you this personal message to you at this time. I'm also very grateful and humble for being in a position that enables me to carry out what I feel is my life's calling, my life's work. A worthwhile mission, if you will, that potentially has the capability to help in solving one of the world's biggest problems we face today as a nation. That problem being obesity. So to say the least, I'm very excited, 100% committed, and eager to sharing my lifelong battle and everyday struggle weight loss story with you. A compelling story of how you can finally and once and for all turn your tragedy of being overweight, because that's what it is, a tragic situation, into triumph, like I did and like so many others have. A real life story of total desperation that finally led me to the discovery that my out of control eating activities were literally a form of food abuse. And this food abuse over a period of time eventually leads me down the path to becoming addicted to food. I literally ended up becoming a food junkie. I'm talking self-destructive eating activities that I helplessly was engaging in, and later come to find out I had been utilizing these as a means of escaping my pain and coping with life's stress. Can you relate? In a sense, I was literally self-medicating myself, and my drug of choice was food. I would literally eat anything and everything from fast food joints to chips and cookies, to candy and ice cream. And of course, I couldn't live without my soda pop. And tons of it too. It's as if I was literally a human garbage disposal. It was ridiculous. I didn't care what it was. I just had to have it, and I had to have it now. Looking back, I obviously was in a lot of pain and didn't even know it at the time. And had I known it, I still would not have known what to do about it anyway of the pain. I assure you, as you read and embark on my remarkable story, it will not only astound you, but also relate to you in many ways and leave you in a state of awe when it's over. My personal story is also not for the faint of heart either. I hold nothing back. I leave no stone unturned. I sugarcoat nothing. I tell it like it is, because that's how life really is anyway, right? My story really and truly hits home and gives hope for those who really struggle with weight loss. Being overweight and being medically diagnosed as obese, along with all the negative health issues and consequences that are also associated with being overweight as well, such as a shorter lifespan, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, coronary heart disease, stroke, diabetes, joint discomfort, and all the way down to sleep apnea, etc. My story is also for those who can't seem to figure out how to stop the eating frenzies from actually taking place, or even worse, why they're happening to you in the first place. I literally cover what might be every embarrassing, shameful, or out of control feeling one may experience, and ultimately every depressing aspect of being overweight that many obese people experience but are ashamed to talk about it. And I use myself as a real life example because I lived there for the most part of my life, some 30 plus years. So I know firsthand what you're going through, where you're probably at, and also what the solution most likely is. I also go on to show you how, out of my desperation to once and for all overcome my obesity, ultimately led me to discover the single most biggest hidden kept secret of all time that's behind any kind of long-term weight loss success story. And also how you can easily discover this for yourself too. Yes, you. You see, achieving long-term successful weight loss is actually simpler than one may think. Once you've properly trained in how to go about in doing so, especially by someone who's already done it and can actually speak it from real life experience. Makes sense, right? In this no resistance weight loss training system, I'll also be sharing the true hidden mysteries behind the 7 biggest, hugest mistakes and pitfalls and traps that many people end up falling into that cause themselves to becoming a victim of their own demise, especially when it comes to long-term weight loss success. Can you guess what they are? If not, more than likely, you'll continue to self-sabotage yourself time and time again and never be able to finally overcome the dreadful yo-yo syndrome. If you've ever struggled with weight loss before, you know exactly what this means, right? It's when you get all motivated about wanting to lose weight again, and for the 100th time too, right? And you tell yourself, this time it's going to be different because you're really going to commit your whole self heartily to this goal at this time. You probably decided to join a local fitness center if you're not a member already of a couple of them already at the time. And at this time, you even went as far as buying yourself a whole new set of designer fitness gear, thinking somehow this is really going to help you. Are you with me so far? And then you even gotten yourself to the point to where you started having some fun with this and actually began enjoying the fitness routine of yours, right? And you probably also experienced some initial weight loss success in the very beginning as well, right? Doesn't it sound too familiar? Then what happened? It was short-lived, wasn't it? Research shows that within the first 12 months of starting any form of weight loss program, most of us will end up failing at it. 9 out of 10 will. And also, not only put on the weight that we initially lost in the beginning, but also put on an additional 10 to 20 pounds, right? That's exactly what self-sabotage is at its finest. Once you finally learn the true real secrets behind the single most critical aspects of weight loss that almost everyone seems to overlook or avoid for some apparent reason, let alone hardly give any importance to it whatsoever. Do you have an idea of what I'm referring to? There's an old adage that goes, how can you see the trees amongst the forest? Or another good example is, in making my point here, Haven't you ever had an experience where looking so hard to find something that was missing, only to come to find it was right there in front of you in the first place, the whole time? We all have that, right? Well, that's exactly the same message I'm trying to convey to you here when it comes to the specific area of life that we are about to embark on. So I'm finally going to let you off the hook here and relieve you from any suspense you may have, so we could get right down to the business of successful weight loss. After all, that is what this program is all about anyway. Getting you to experience your very own long-term weight loss success story, and then shouting it to the world by sharing your personal journey of a success story on our very website, right? As well as having the potential of becoming one of our featured guest speakers and having the opportunity of making a live appearance on my up-and-coming late-night weight loss infomercial. I plan on kicking off this infomercial in the very near future. So I'm definitely going to be needing your weight loss success stories. As my story unfolds, you will see for yourself that it's going to be next to impossible for you now not to address this key issue regarding your current emotional mindset aspect of one's life that is currently taking place. And I did too in the beginning. So I am just as guilty, but I eventually wised up, and so will you now that our paths have crossed. My research in this matter not only comes from my own experience or expertise in the subject, but also from the actual individual themselves who are trying to lose the weight just as I was. To fitness centers, to personal trainers, to nutritional centers, and even to dietitians alike. And even though they all gave out sound advice and had great plans in their related area of topics, not any of them ever touched on the subject of this emotional mindset aspect of one's life, as well as the significant impact it can have on one regarding their overall permanent weight loss success story. Now, please don't get me wrong here. Let me also be the first to say, by no means is this meant to cast any blame on anyone in any particular way on any field whatsoever. More than likely, it wasn't their area of expertise, nor was their compensation more than likely geared in that direction either, I suppose. And let's face it, who do you know who would like to talk about their current emotional mindset state of mind anyway? Right? It can appear to be too hard and too painful of a subject, right? I am simply just sharing what my overall experience was and why and what my encounters were like those for the past 30 plus years in my quest of battling the bulge. It just seems as though everyone tries to attack weight loss from a physical standpoint, such as a specific physical fitness routine, as well as specifically designed nutritional meals for us to ingest, right? And although these are critical factors to successful weight loss, so please don't get me wrong here, but without this one major key ingredient of being able to subconsciously manage this emotional mindset aspect of one's life in regards to the actual effect it's having determining one's overall weight loss success, research shows that more than likely you are pretty much destined for failure. You can physically try to burn up as many calories as possible, and you can even attempt to try various dieting programs that are on the market today. But more than likely, you will eventually tire out, fall off the wagon, so to speak, and go back to your old ways. This is primarily due to the fact that you are trying to handle the weight loss problem from a physical standpoint, when in fact, the weight loss problem is primarily an emotional mindset, first and foremost, and then physically second. But it seems as though almost everyone tends to want to focus most of their efforts on physical aspects, which should come second and not first. That's why willpower wears out so fast. You tire out. This is the very first secret to one of the biggest and hugest mistakes almost everyone makes when it comes to weight loss. And the sad truth is many of us are not even aware that this issue regarding our emotional mindset even exists or plays such a significant role when it comes to successful weight loss, let alone try to address it or even solve this key issue up front. That is why my approach is not only unique in that not many people are willing to tackle weight loss from this point of view, but at the same time, it is also the main reason why I am extremely successful in getting others to experience their very own long-term, permanent, successful weight loss story. And then having them shout out to the world, and not only is this my burning desire for you too, but it's also my life's mission as well. Due to the simple fact that the majority of us are generally incapable of tackling this emotional mindset aspect of our life on our own without any specialized training, and also by not having given it much consideration up front when contemplating our weight loss goals in the first place, is one of the main reasons why research shows that 90% of us experience failure when it comes to long-term successful weight loss within the first 12 months. You have to realize, not only is being able to subconsciously manage this emotional mindset aspect of one's life the first crucial step to any form of long-term successful weight loss story, but it's also the main key. It's also the main key ingredient of them all, too. You are just going to have to take my word for it for now, as I play this story out, okay? You will also have to believe me when I tell you that I have been in the weight loss arena for many, many years. I have also tried just about every physical fitness routine out there known to mankind, along with every possible diet imaginable that exists, too, including appetite suppressants to diuretics, as well as weight loss surgery. I even failed at that too. And although I may have experienced some initial weight loss success in the beginning, I eventually ended up putting the weight back on, plus some. It was short-lived at best, and that's the perfect example of willpower being only of a temporary change. I'm quite sure you've had some similar experiences as well, right? So please stay tuned in because the best is yet to come. All the gory details of my personal story of being overweight and obese have yet to be revealed. And just to give you a few examples of what I mean, I'm talking instances from being a gastric bypass failure. Yes, that's right. That term does exist. It's when all else fails and your health is so at risk, you have to undergo, through a physician's advice, this life-threatening surgery where they literally staple your stomach shut to the size of an egg. But there are no guarantees in bariatric surgery either, right? In fact, 7 out of 10 bariatric surgeries fail. I come to find out with my research because I was one of those failures. Because I eventually went back to my old self-destructive eating behaviors and literally stretched out my pouch to where I could eat just about as much as I wanted, and I did, I even began putting the weight back on that I had initially lost from undergoing weight loss surgery. Isn't that ridiculous? Once again, here's a perfect example of a physical attempt to an emotional mindset issue that I can only speak about from my personal experience. Talk about experiencing ultimate failure along with total defeat. When I put that weight back on, plus some, after having stomach surgery, my spirit was totally broken. Needless to say, that was a very, very low point of my life, which, by the way, is how this whole transformation of having to figure all this stuff out, as well as conquering my weight loss issues once and for all, actually came about. I remember putting the weight back on after my gastric bypass surgery, being at the health club. And I gained the weight back plus some, even though my stomach was down to the size of an egg. I just stretched it out by eating. I remember being on the pool area, crying and banging on the floor in failure and defeat. Here I went, life-threatening surgery. And I'm back to being overweight again, and I have no stomach. And that there is the instance of where my out-of-control binge eating and gorging and overindulging would get to the point to where I would literally eat myself sick and have to pass out. It was not only gross, but also disgusting too. And this was a common occurrence for me that went on all day long for years. At the time I was married, my wife could testify to this too. In fact, when I used to drop her off at the Metro train station in Chicago for work in the morning, she used to tell me, "Now, Orlando, don't eat yourself sick today." And we would laugh about it and get a kick out of it because it sounds so ridiculous. But I would literally, consistently eat myself sick and pass out. And then there's the instance where, after coming off of one of my binge eating sprees and being all bloated and feeling totally disgusted with myself, I would then go to the local supermarket, Jewel, Kroger, Osco, and feel compelled to buy a diuretic of some kind and then proceed to drinking it. And sure enough, a couple hours later, it would kick in and I would literally find myself stuck on the commode, just trying to do whatever I could to rid myself of these totally disgusted feelings of being all bloated up. I know it sounds pretty gross, doesn't it? How sad it was, but also how true. These are just a few examples that I decided to share with you at this time. And don't you worry, because there's plenty more available that I intend on sharing with you. But you have to do your part and stay tuned in for the rest of the story. Which in the end, you'll also be happy to know that these self-destructive eating behaviors were ultimately responsible for also driving me to the cure as well, too. You also get these awesome, inspiring details too. You see, with me, you get the ugly and the pretty. I leave nothing out because that's how life really is anyway, isn't it? And you also have to be surprised to know that out of my desperation to once and for all overcome my lifelong dilemma of struggling with obesity and finally conquering it, unannounced to me, I ended up becoming an expert in the field along with authoring the best-selling self-help training system ever written on the subject. Can you believe this? Or better yet, can you even imagine what the title is to this best-selling weight loss training system that I'm also proud of? Well, it's called, as you know, the No Resistance Weight Loss System. How bizarre, right? To sum it up, I cover in much greater detail how being able to subconsciously manage this emotional mindset automatically without any willpower whatsoever, I believe is the one of life's single most biggest hidden kept secret of all time that's behind any kind of weight loss success story, or regardless of what your endeavor is for that matter. My research shows this is the first thing you absolutely have to learn. How to apply before deciding to do anything in life if you want to experience any form of long-term permanent success. While others have no choice in the matter but only to stay enslaved to their emotions and finding themselves hopelessly stuck and having no way out, will no longer be the case for you if you are going through those experiences as I have. Simply due to the fact that you'll know firsthand now not only how to, but also when to apply these strategies that will enable you to stay grounded rather than being caught up in regards to any distressing situations you happen to find yourself in that may make you want to eat to help you ease the pain or the stress you're in. This is a very powerful position to be able to be operated from in life. So please do not take this lightly. It's been said that the human brain is the greatest computer on the planet. And I'm quite sure most of us, if not all, probably believe in this being the case. That being said, a computer is only capable, so to speak, of operating to the level it has been programmed to do so. And also, based on its individual programming, it's only going to be able to function or perform to that level as well. Does this make sense to you, right? And if your computer is equipped with old, outdated, conditioned reactions, in other words, limited programming or negative programming, so to speak, that you've learned along the way, more than likely it's going to continue to operate from this position because that's the only way it's been programmed to function. Kind of make sense? It simply knows no other way. But the good news is our brain is fully capable of being reprogrammed, so to speak. It's also not at all that complicated of a process in doing so, as you may have come to think it is. And hopefully, as we move along, you'll come to realize that for yourself as well. I know I spent a lot of time on the first initial step regarding our emotional mindset, and that's because it's the most important one that I feel requires spending a little more time on than the rest or the others. That's how I finally went from weighing in at 276 pounds, size 46, 48-inch waistline of a pant size, down to 175, 181 pounds to a size 34-inch waistline. That's an amazing 95 to 100 pounds lighter, and the reduction of about 12 to 14 inches off my waistline. And most importantly, I successfully maintained these results for the last 10 consecutive years and counting. And also how you're going to do the very same thing as well. That's right. I kept 12 to 14 inches off my waistline and about 100 pounds off consistently for the last 10 years running. Living life to the fullest of my capabilities, putting into practice my daily training and healing skills, which enables me, as well as many others, to experience the true essence of everyday living, along with all of the endless possibilities it has to offer, such as being happier and content, all the way to feeling very grateful for being alive, and also for being able to live one's out true happiness in life. This is also what finally led me down the path to being able and ending up creating the no resistance weight loss system, which is a simple, practical, yet highly effective, true and tried, battle-tested, proven formula comprised of a strategized type of methodology for long-term successful behavior change. Now that was a mouthful, I know. that will allow you to once and for all, again, reclaim any area of your life back right here and now, just like I have and so many others have I trained with. As a proven veteran of having to overcome major adversities in conquering my own demons, so to speak, along with sustaining many years of long-term and lasting behavioral change in my own life, I know on a very intimate level where you're possibly at, what you're probably experiencing as well, and what your next step perhaps should be. As well as a survivor and long-term overcomer, I will literally hold your hand every step of the way, seeing you through this, being there for you, through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the pretty, assisting in assuring you long-term and lasting successful behavioral change of true transformation. I'm letting you know there is hope for you. There are simple proven therapies of modern NLP, hypnosis, and regression technologies that literally work long-term, that is, permanently. I'm actually living proof. And as the saying goes, until you've walked into my shoes, you can't possibly give me any worthwhile advice to listen to, right? Well, obviously, I had to overcome and cure myself of many self-destructive behaviors over the years. And for long-term, before ever even thinking about specializing in the counseling and healing of others in doing change work. As a matter of fact, I would have never imagined in a million years that my life's path would have ever have led me to this destination. Let alone take on this monster of a challenge and accepting this mission and making it my life's work, to where I'm 1,000% absolutely committed to this cause. Reaching out to as many people as possible in any given day, to anyone who's willing to listen to my personal story on the possibilities of behavior modification. A story that exemplifies hope in that regardless of the type of childhood you've had, or where you may have come from, or the type of your upbringing, regardless of any of the type of fears you had to face or any of the traumas you had to experience, regardless of all the shortcomings you had to deal with, regardless of all of the setbacks and disappointments, regardless of all of the mistakes you've made, regardless of all of your past failures, broken dreams, etc., regardless of what your past is or was, it doesn't necessarily have to equal your future. Remember, it's not how many times you fall. More importantly, it's how many times you get up. There is still hope out there for you. Take it from me. You're never too old either, as well as time there available for you too, just as there was for me. One of the secrets to life is you have to keep on swinging that bat regardless of how many times you may have already struck out, right? And remember, it's not how many times you failed, it's how many times you get up. That makes the difference. Make sense? And by the way, never ever give up hope on yourself, even when others that are very close to you might already have, like family members and friends, as I had to experience, and I'm sure many others have. Even when the chips are down and you're feeling low, always remember to tell yourself this one thing that's always kept me alive and in the game. And it goes like this: you may be down, baby, but in no way are you ever out for the count. You may be down and even discouraged a bit, but don't you ever forget this one thing: you're never out, not yet anyway. That's what our destiny is reserved for and all about. Our responsibility to this current life that we are currently living, as they say, is to keep on pressing on. Because you just never know if that next goal, project, or idea you have is going to be the one to put you right back on top. I can hardly wait to get to meet you in person one day, maybe at a seminar or at a training event, in hopes that my personal story in some way not only touches you, but also inspires you to write your very own success story too. I would love hearing it from you real soon, and nothing will make me feel more prouder. I thank you once again for taking the time to hear this message, and I hope in some way it was instrumental in taking you to your next level. So please visit orlandogiraldiseminars.com and get connected to me personally so we can begin your awesome transformation right here and now. As well as immediately rushing out and getting into your hands any additional training material you feel you would also like to have, and adding to your weight loss arsenal of defense against the battling of the bulge. So once again, please visit orlandogiraldiseminars.com. You'll be glad you did. And until our paths cross again, my friend, this is Orlando Giraldi wishing you the very best success on your weight loss success journey. About the author, I have developed 10 life-changing hypnotic audio training programs, in which 7 of them had made the company's all-time bestsellers list. I also authored 3 training manuals titled a national bestseller, which is the one we're talking about, the No Resistance Weight Loss System, followed up by the 5 Steps of Self-Hypnosis, and third but not least, All About Hypnosis, all modern guides into hypnosis, NLP, current, future, and past life regression technologies. My empowering, amazing powers of the mind and empowering programs are known all over the world. So please listen to this program now and change your life forever for the better. For more information about Orlando Giraldi and my training seminars, please visit me at www.orlandogiraldiseminars.com and get connected to me personally so we can immediately begin your awesome transformation right here and now. This is Orlando Giraldi wishing you the very best on your weight loss journey. And once again, I thank you for taking the time to hear that out. We'll take a break and come back for the next phase. Thank you.